is pretty cool. I've never been on a podcast like this.
Yeah, well, I'm learning myself.
This is like the most formal podcast I've ever been on.
Really? Thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right, man. You ready to get started?
Let's go.
All right. Let's see here. We're on auto. And so welcome back to Local Talent Podcast. In studio with me today, I got Leo. Leo, you want to give everybody the elevator pitch, your name, who you are, what you do, and who you do it to?
Yeah. My name is Leo Valdez. I am the owner of National Best Credit Solutions. We own a credit repair company. I'm actually one of the owners. There's me and my best friend, which she couldn't make it in today.
Gotcha.
So I got to give a shout out to MJ.
Nice. Very nice. So credit repair. How did you get involved with credit repair?
So it just came to me by accident, really. What happened was I got laid off from Spectrum. When that happened, I was on unemployment, and I was making more money on unemployment than I did there. So I was like, I could do this for a while. Took a month off, and I was like, nope, I can't do this.
Sitting at home sucks.
So I went on Indeed and saw a sales job for another credit repair company here locally. I worked there for about 2 months. Got fired, kind of random. Went to work for another credit repair company as a regional manager, did that for a year, and it just didn't work out between me and that guy. So I said, you know what, I can do this myself.
Nice.
And it just kind of fell to me, but I found my niche. I truly love what I do.
Nice. Very nice. So yeah, that definitely helps whenever you can get out of bed and enjoy getting to the office. Did you enjoy your job at Spectrum that much?
No.
What'd you do at Spectrum?
I did sales.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
so I used to sell.
Horribly bad. No. So how does, I'm curious, you did sales at Spectrum. I'd imagine you get some kind of commission.
Oh yeah.
Right. So,
how much money was I making?
Well, how much money was the top guy making?
I was the top guy.
Okay.
I was number 2.
Okay.
There.
So, and then what were you selling?
Internet, cable, and mobile.
So like cold calling or?
Nope, it was all inbound.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, how hard could it be when somebody's calling for the service?
Yeah, they want this. Turn this on for me.
Correct. Yes.
So what does that look like? What does that look like for salary?
I was making about anywhere between 60 to 80,000 a year.
So, and you're the number 2 guy. Mm-hmm. So, the thing about sales, what I really like about sales is that usually you can have a lot more control over your salary.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's what's enticing about sales. Cause if you're getting a commission, you could just go bust your ass and then, drum up a bunch of business.
Right.
But it's kind of sounds like you had at Spectrum, you were kind of fixed to, it didn't matter how much busting ass you do. It seems like there was a cap.
Right. There was.
You know what I mean? So with what you do now,
there's no cap.
Being out on your own is like, okay, if I want an empire or if I want a dog shed, it doesn't matter. I know what I need to do to get these things. Right. So when you decided to transition into doing this yourself, what was the apprehension? What was the fear? What was the I don't know. What was holding you back?
Well, it kind of worked out. Like I said, I was working for another credit repair company. Mm-hmm. And that company just stopped paying me. Like he wasn't paying me how he should have. Okay. Honestly. And like, there's something I don't do personally to my employees. That's why I'm like, you get paid at this time, at this day. And that's it. So he would kind of hold my own paycheck against me. And I was like, God, this isn't, like I earned the money. You should be able to just pay the man for a job he did.
Exactly right.
So I told my fiance, I was like, look, it didn't work out. We got into a little argument and we decided to both separate ways. I was like, so what am I going to do now? And I was like, I'm going to open up my own company. And she goes, okay, babe, we'll just sleep on it and, think about it over the weekend. So 45 minutes later, she was doing laundry. I go, nope, I made a decision.
Oh, it's done. We're ready to go.
I was like, I'm ready to start my own company. I said, so I called up my best friend, MJ. I was like, hey, do you want to, I was like, I could use some money right now. Yeah. So do you want to invest and we can do this together? We go 50-50. Mm-hmm. He goes, yeah, let me think about it. I was like, nope, you're in. And that's how it worked. So within 1 week, we opened up our company.
Nice. Very nice. So how did you, you're an LLC, is that right?
Yes.
So
correct.
how did you format that? Did you do that online or did you do that with a lawyer?
I did it through LegalZoom.
Yeah.
LegalZoom.
I set up my first corporation. I set up with a lawyer, And then the rest of them have all been through LegalZoom.
Yeah.
So it's convenient.
It's so much easier.
Yeah.
It comes out very organized.
You've been a year in.
Right.
In your own business.
Correct.
And you've already opened up another store.
Right. Yeah. So we opened up our second location. I ended up closing down the first one just because there was no need for it.
Gotcha.
Because it was way smaller. So how I started.
Because it was way smaller, is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear, dude. I love hearing how people grow, and it's like, so a year in, you already ran out of space. Right. That's awesome, dude. Well, carry on. Tell me about your second space.
Yeah. Well, me and MJ started in my living room.
Okay.
So 1 a.m. just working on. We only had like 3 customers starting out. We started from the living room, and I was like, I think we should rent out a location. Mm-hmm. And I found this little spot on I-10 in Wurzbach. And he was like, well, let's think about it. And not me.
I'm in.
So I was like, I signed the contract. And he was like, damn it. Okay. So we had a little 2-office space, nice little spot. It worked out for us. We only had just us. We grew. We had a set of employees. Those didn't work out. Now we found the perfect niche. Now we have 12 employees.
What's that niche?
Niche is like where they click with us. Where
the niche of people.
Yes,
I got you.
We like to not be like a typical boss. Okay, so we're not
that's
here.
So dead. That's turn on the news, man. That's not working anymore.
It's not. So we always felt like we didn't want to be like our bosses that we had. You had to be here at this time. You had to do this. I'm like, hey, get your shit done, and you're golden by me.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're very family oriented. We go out, we have dinner, we do different things.
Nice.
We travel together. I mean, we're just good team.
How do you manage, or how do you gauge the amount of work that needs to be done? So when you say as long as you get your work done, that's fine. What's the expectation there? I mean, is there if we get so many of these things done, I mean, what does that look like?
So how it used to be was it was just me doing it all. Mm-hmm. Right. And then I realized I had to learn to delegate. So now I have teams. So now I have a guy named Alex who runs our company. He's the president of our company. Very nice. And he handles all the technical stuff. I have Stephanie who does our processing, and she does all our letters. Mm-hmm. And then her sister also works for the company, and she does all the mail outs. Okay. I have a sales team, Krista. She's my money maker. Without her, our company doesn't function. She does all our sales. So I have different teams for different things. For sales, it's commission. So she knows what she has to do to make her money. So she's free to go and come as she pleases.
Sure. Yeah. Because, I mean, if she's feeding herself, she's feeding the company.
Exactly. For our processing team, they're on salary. So they know what they have to do. I check it every Monday, and it's been good. It really has. It's not something where I have to micromanage them at all.
Well, especially so, I know for myself, whenever you start the daunting idea of delegating whatever task it is to somebody else, they'll never, in your mind, they're never going to do it as good as you.
Right.
If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
Exactly.
All that shit.
Right.
So, and I'll stand by that and probably say for the most part that's still true. But there is, there's give and take, right? So it's like, and I do this all the time. I know, like, whenever there's a certain amount of work that comes in with my drafting business, if there is some kind of weird headache, right? I'll often delegate that to one of the employees, and not because I don't want to be inconvenienced, but I know I will obsess over it, and I will spend 2, 3, 4 times the amount of time that needs to be spent on it. And I know they won't. So I'm like, here, this sucks. Sorry, here, you got to do this. Yeah.
That's why I have Alex, and I can't praise him enough because he handles all my shitty situations.
Nice.
I'm like, hey, look, this person's complaining. Get on it. And he's probably like, damn
it. Complaint department.
Yeah.
You got one on the line.
I send him like 3 a day, and he's probably like, God.
Complaints about what? How does that work?
People want credit repair to be done instantly. And it does not happen that way. I wish I had a magic wand to just wave everybody's bad shit away. If I could, I would.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not legal.
Yeah.
It's not possible, and it's not ethical.
Right.
Everything we do is ethical and legal. So the complaints that we get is, why isn't it done within 3 weeks? Why isn't it done tomorrow?
It's look, sweetheart, it took you more than 3 weeks to screw your credit up.
Right.
It's going to take longer than 3 weeks to get it fixed.
Exactly. And you understand that, which is, awesome. A lot of people don't.
A lot of people don't. Yeah. Well, and it's usually because correct me if I'm wrong, outside looking in, you would know better than I would. But I think that people that are worried or interested or trying to be proactive about their credit, proactive, probably not the right word, but people that are interested in their credit all of a sudden, probably because they got something they want to buy.
Correct.
So if they got something they want to buy, so then it's like, oh hell, I it's not like picking up dirty clothes in the house. It's like you got to invest some time into this,
right? Yeah, usually people who are trying to buy a house or a vehicle, what happens is they get turned down and then they find us.
Gotcha.
They're already in a shitty situation and they're like, what do I do next? Mm-hmm. And which is good. We love it. We want to help them get into that house, get in. That's our goal.
Right.
They just got to realize that it does take time. It's a process. You got to trust the process.
Right.
And credit repair has a bad reputation.
Seems like it can be grouped in with the used car salesman.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, but it is a process.
Correct.
What type of, not what type, but what, on average, and this is a loaded question. I know it is, but on average, if there is such an average, what would you say is the length of time that it takes to see noticeable results?
So no matter what plan, because we have 3 different plans, mm-hmm. no matter what plan you get, you will see results within 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Whether it's something being removed, something being changed, mm-hmm. you will see some type of results within 4 weeks.
Okay. So what is, what's the highest credit score somebody can get?
850.
850? Mm-hmm. So, and what's the lowest?
300.
300. So, where is the happy range that people are like
happy?
Yeah.
670, 700.
Okay. So on average, what would you say people are at when they come find you?
400s, 500s.
500s.
Yeah.
In 4 weeks or so, they start to see results, noticeable increases. But what's the longest plan, I guess?
A year.
A year?
A year.
And then so what does that include?
That includes us going after all their items. Eventually, that's our lowest plan. Mm-hmm. Takes a year out. Getting them where they need to be. We credit coach them. We tell them what they need to do. We help them. We point them in the right direction financially, and explain. We go over their budget and say, this is exactly how you need to be paying your bills, what you need to be doing, and how many items we will be going after. So I've never had somebody longer than a year. Mm-hmm. I've never.
After a year, you should probably get it by now.
Done. Yeah.
And, well, if you're doing some coaching, So you have anybody ever screw up the plan?
Oh yeah.
So a realtor's worst. I know a lot of realtors, and one of the worst things that they hear is, we're going to go under contract on this house in 30 days. Awesome. I'm going to go buy a new truck. No, don't do that.
I had a guy buy a Harley Davidson.
So what? How far off the rails do you think your worst client has come? So you got something laid out for them, hey, John Smith, this is what you need to do. This is how, we're going to handle this stuff, but you need to handle this stuff moving forward. What's the worst example of that not working that you can think of?
I had a guy who was ready to buy I think it was like $400,000 house. He was super excited about it. His debt to income was perfect. We got so many items removed, and he went to go buy a motorcycle.
That's the one, huh?
Yeah, I always go to that one. I had a few buy motorcycles, which I'm not talking about one of them. One of them was fine, but this because that was his goal when he came in. But this guy was ready to close on a house within like 30 something days. And as soon as he bought that, he messed up his debt to income. So he qualified for something way less, and he was mad at us.
For what?
For purchasing that. He was like,
well, but I mean,
yeah, he was like, I thought you were going to fix my credit. I'm like, we did. You messed it up.
It's not even messed up. It's just, what, I mean, this is how it works.
Right.
So do you have to do, well, so on the credit side, and how closely do you work with any type of financial, like
loan officers,
lenders, and stuff like that? Do you
all day, every day?
Do you really?
All day, every day.
So what kind of involvement do you have with loan officers? How does that work?
So I partner up with a lot of loan officers and realtors, but loan officers are the ones who turn down the loans. So we partner up with them to get those people to not just be lost causes.
Yeah.
Put something in their pipeline. Also, one benefit that we do is we don't charge realtors or loan officers for their personal credit. So that's how I maintain the good relationship with them.
I'd imagine. Yeah.
As far as loan officers, they send us all the clients so that way we can get something in their pipeline, and then within 6 months they have something to sell.
Yeah.
Something to close down the line. Same thing with realtors.
Your not ideal customer, but who's the most
who's the perfect customer?
Not the perfect customer. Yeah, no. Who's the most common? Somebody buying a house.
Somebody buying a house is our most common.
That's
our target. Who we like is oil field workers, which we don't have a lot of, but oil field workers are the best income. They're financially stable, but
they just blow their money.
They were never educated. They don't teach this stuff in high school.
Why oil field workers? I know you're telling me, but I'm they weren't educated. They make good money. Do they typically have bad credit?
They typically have bad credit.
Huh.
So
because why?
They just weren't taught. A lot of people who weren't taught this, who go out and do construction work, they weren't taught how to financially handle themselves credit.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be our golden ideal perfect customer. So that way we can help them, educate them. I just haven't found an oil seminar,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and plus it's like, it seems like, they're, feast or famine. It's like, there's everybody's slammed working, and then it's like crickets. You don't hear nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Very cyclical, it seems like, but I don't really keep my hand on the pulse of oil field workers too much.
Honestly, we don't have a lot. And it's funny because we have, like I said, we had 3 clients. Now we have over 500.
That's awesome, man. In a year's time.
In a year's time, we open up the new location. Now we have 12 employees.
That's terrific, man. That's awesome.
And my go-to idea is oil field workers. And it's like a vision that I keep seeing further down, but I will get to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's important to have, your eye on the prize. So when you went out in a year's time, dude, this is awesome. For me, when I went out on my own, it took me so long to hire my first employee, and you've already done it well before a year's time. That's terrific, dude. That's awesome. So one of the things here that I'm always trying to ask people is what their expectations are when they go out on their own, what type of growth. Most people that have a talent or or some kind of skilled labor or something like that, they don't have any interest in having they don't have any interest in having any kind of employees or business. They just want to go to work, get paid, and that's it. Right. If I come in late, whatever. So typically the question is hey, do you see yourself having employees? So for you, I guess I'm going to ask, how big do you think that you want to grow this thing?
I think we'll stop when we have about 30 employees.
30 employees, and you have how many now?
12.
So you're almost halfway there.
Getting there. Almost. So probably have one more location here. We're opening up a location in Laredo soon. We're trying to open up an office in Lubbock and then in Michigan. So
who's going to man these these stations?
So I already have somebody in Lubbock and somebody in Laredo who started working for our company.
Oh.
Once they start producing where I need them to, I will set aside that money from what they're making to open up an office out there.
So what are they doing? Are they doing sales for you?
Correct.
So are these, you're working in HQ, so these other places, are they going to be satellite? There'll just be sales locations? How does that work?
Sales locations, but we'll have a processing team there so that I can handle that workload.
Okay.
So it'll be everything. Comfortable enough for clients to come in and do a credit consultation with.
Okay. I think that 30 employees is going to, I didn't say next year, dude. I think you're cutting yourself way short here if your grand vision is only be 30 employees. Hell, you already got your eye on the prize for 4 more stores or for 4 stores. That's terrific.
Yeah. My MJ would love to retire instantly.
Yeah.
I'm more of I want to keep, this is my long term. I love this. I'm deep in this. This is everything that I love.
You have 500 customers now. Is that ideal for your location and for your team, or how much more capacity do you think you can?
For my team, they could probably handle about 1,500.
Oh, so you're just scratching the surface.
Correct.
For that location.
Correct. But you remember, we have over 500 clients, but it's not just in San Antonio. We're nationwide. We go to conventions out in Oklahoma that we deal with. We partnered up with other companies to send us lots of people. So we get bulks of customers. I partnered up with, I don't really want to name bombing. You don't have to. But I partnered up with a big time investor who reached out to us, and he hosts his conventions, and we get people in bulks.
That is terrific.
So we get like 100 at a time.
So yeah, you're not shopping in apartment complexes for people that are looking to get into houses. You're getting the whales.
Yeah, I go whale hunting.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. That's terrific. Why do you love doing this so much?
I love to help people out. Not only am I helping clients out and getting them their dreams, but I also have employees that I know that I'm changing their lives.
Yeah.
So they're able to do for their families, something that a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do.
Most of the people that are coming to you, it's because they're trying to buy something. So Correct. If they're trying to buy a house, do they ever include you in on that? That's probably the greatest moment whenever I see them post a picture of a house and they're like, thank you.
Oh, I do get a few that we helped out and they buy a house and they're like, yeah, I'm glad we did this all on our own. I'm like, all right. Cool. I mean, to each their own. I mean,
well, I would say though, in defense, right? Not that that sucks, but I could probably understand, because most people, that's like,
it's an embarrassing thing.
Right. It's private. It's like, you don't want people to know that you were vulnerable in some kind of capacity.
Exactly. So I get that 100%.
So you're married?
I have a fiance.
You're engaged.
Yes.
So how long have y'all been together?
3 years.
3 years.
Going on 4.
She was with you. Sounds like by the Spectrum days.
Yeah. So she was with me when I was poor.
One of the things about being an entrepreneur is you got to have some kind of support. Your fiance, sounds like she was in your corner from the jump.
So yeah, she's always been in my corner. This was different. Starting your own business is very different. It's a different lifestyle that we are now living. So
you mean you don't just work 20 hours a week and put your feet up?
Yeah, no, I work 24 hours a day. I'm pretty sure it was hard for her at first to see the understanding, why am I getting calls at 1 a.m, or why am I getting calls at 5 a.m? And she's like, what girl is calling you? And I'm like, it's a customer. And I think she got to see it one time when I had a customer out in Washington who was like, hey, I work overnight. Can you answer a call at 4 a.m? So what did I do? I got up at 4 a.m, got on my computer and was working.
Do you have customers in all 50 states yet?
Not in all 50. No, I think I'm covering about 40 something of them though.
You get 40 states of customers.
Correct.
Man, that's terrific.
I don't think I have any Hawaii, nor Alaska.
Now, is this from directly you getting out in front of seminars in these different states, or?
So that's one way. The other way is I go on Facebook. Facebook's free, everyone.
Yeah.
If you go to Facebook and you go to each state and look up like California realtors, and then you go into one of their pages and then just post in there and say, hey, I do credit repair if anybody or needs. That's how I market myself out.
Sure.
So I've done that with all states, but now that I'm thinking about it, I need to do that with Alaska and Hawaii. It's time consuming.
Yeah,
it is.
Well, I can imagine. So how long do you think the conversion is from the moment you implement something on Facebook to seeing that converted into a customer? What's the average for that to take root?
So it's like planting seeds, right? So if I plant a seed out in it just depends. I can have a loan officer send me something instantly by seeing something, or I can have somebody just say, okay, that's good, and I'll reach out to you later, and then it's like 3 weeks later. So that question kind of varies.
It's all over the place, huh?
Right. But without doing it, you wouldn't get anything.
Absolutely.
So always do it. And when people don't see the results right away, they just got to be consistent.
That's with anything, man. Everybody wants to throw their hands up so fast,
Yeah, we have to do audits every 15 days to make sure all our clients are in place.
Is that you do that yourself?
Me and MJ do that ourselves.
Well, but what I mean is like that's not like a state mandated.
No.
That's just you're making sure your clients.
My clients are good.
So you audit every 15 days.
Every 15 days, we audit 500 clients, and we're there all day.
So, do you feel like you in your business? Do you feel like y'all have competition?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see my competition today.
Okay. So where do you see him?
I saw him. We were at a seminar right now for it was for National Hispanics Real Estate Professionals. Mm-hmm. And I saw both of them there, but I just say hi, smile. I don't worry about what they're doing. I stay in my own lane.
So, and that is frequently I ask that question to as many people as I can, and frequently the response is, I'm my own competition, something along those lines.
Right.
It's good to know what they're doing.
Oh yeah, I know what they're doing.
So,
because I got to respect what they're doing because they've made it to a certain level.
Yeah, but also, right. So, like, as far as a gauge of your own success, you know what I mean? It's like if there was nobody else doing this, you wouldn't know if
I was winning or losing.
Right. You wouldn't know if there was room to grow or if you're capped out. You know. But if you're the best player on the team or if you're the worst player on the team, you know where you're at. You can improve or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's important to know what your competition is doing. Just don't obsess on it.
I don't. And I think at one point I was starting to. And it's like, man, I was like, I got to know what they're doing every day. And I'm like, no, why? I keep an eye on what they're doing. I'm not going to lie and say I don't. I keep an eye on them just to see what they're doing. To see if they're trying to come in my lane too as well, protect, what we're doing. But there's so many people just in San Antonio alone. There's like 2 million people in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. There's no way I could handle that by myself. You know, there's no way that they could handle it. So there's plenty of room for everybody to eat here.
Sure. So your lane, what is that?
When I stay in my lane, that means like I don't go in. If I know that they're doing business with, certain people, I don't go purposely to try to steal that from them. Which they have to us. Yeah. And we laugh it off and we're like, it's fine.
What would you say is the biggest misconception?
Myths, huh?
Yeah. What is the biggest number one that you hear all the time that it's just, no, that's not true?
So the reason why my credit is so low is because I have 3 inquiries. That is not true. That is the biggest one I hear every day. I got a new inquiry and now my credit dropped like 80 points. Like, yeah, it dropped, but you're also missing out the 14 charge-offs that you have on there that also impacted it. That's the biggest myth is my credit is low because I have too many inquiries.
Too many inquiries cause my low credit.
So whenever you get a decline letter, they will give you reasons of why it's declined. And the first one is always too many inquiries. Mm-hmm. It is on there first, but that doesn't mean that it's the most important one. That's like the lowest one. That's only worth 10% of your credit.
Right.
So nobody cares about the inquiries. That's just what they think because that's the first thing they see.
The credits that are just disasters, what is it? Bad use of money?
Not educated.
Not educated in what? In that, because everybody, I mean, look, it seems basic. If you borrow money, you got to pay it off. You got to pay it back. If you buy something on credit, you got to make timely payments. It seems very simple. Where does it go wrong?
So what happens is a lot of these small little stores will give 18-year-olds credit cards, right? It's legal. It's normal. Mm-hmm. They give them these.
Yeah, go to any college campus.
Yeah. They give them these credit cards, but they don't educate them on how to use it. Mm-hmm. So you get a credit card, for an example, from a store. If a kid, gets an Express credit card, you're familiar with Express?
There aren't they? Oh, the store. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So 18-year, I didn't know. I was like, what's your age here?
You're good, man. You're good.
I didn't want to age you out. But an 18-year-old gets an Express credit card or a Buckle credit card or, some store, they get it for $300. They think, hey, I can use $300 now. So they buy all these clothes for $300. And then now they're like, how am I going to pay it back? Well, they're in college or they're working at these little mom and pop places or Wendy's. Family Dollar, Wendy's, McDonald's. Mm-hmm. And that's not their priority is to pay that. It's either eat, have fun, drink, do whatever I want to do, or pay back what I borrowed. And they're not going to pay it back. So they're not educated on this. They think, oh, well, if I don't pay it back, what's going to happen? Well, Texas is a no-fault state. So the only thing that can happen is it hits your credit report. Mm-hmm. You're not going to go to jail for it, right? So they just let it go. Then they get another card and do the same thing. So it becomes this pattern of bad habits.
Sure.
And our job is to show them, hey, your bad habits aren't working for you. Because if not, you wouldn't be talking to us.
Right.
Let's get you into these good habits. So generally between 18 to 23 is where you're going to mess up your credit. To try to fix it, you're going to be anywhere from 27 to 35. That's going to be about the age where you need to be fixing your credit.
That's pretty, speaking from experience, it's pretty damn accurate. Somebody new who has not screwed up their credit yet.
Okay.
What kind of advice would you give them?
Find somebody, whether it's a parent or a role model, ask them about credit. Okay. My advice would be if they're 18 and their parents have really good credit, then be an authorized user on their credit, because then they're going to carry over the history of whatever the parent had. That's the best way to help somebody. Somebody who just has no credit in general, educate yourself, get a secure credit card, and only use 20% of it each month.
Financing little stuff. Does that help?
Yes.
That helps your credit?
Does help. Just don't go through. But
well, why not?
I don't want to get sued by them. They're the hardest company to remove off of a credit report.
Oh, they got some good lawyers,
their
huh?
shit. Yeah, their bookkeeping is on point. So I'm not offending them. If anything, I'm complimenting them.
Sure.
Little stuff is important. I always say have 3 secure credit cards and 2 installment loans. So an Ashley Furniture, an Aaron's, something that can help you build your credits, especially when you're young. 3 credit cards, gas card, a credit card, a store card, something that you're going to use each month. Use 20% of it. Pay that. Pay your installment loans off, and you're going to have amazing credit within a year.
So the problem that I ran into when I was younger with using a percentage of my available credit was, at the time I didn't have very much credit, and I couldn't buy shit. I couldn't even buy a tank of gas.
Right.
You know, it's like, what can I buy for, $100? You know, it's like, so
it's a sacrifice that you have to do for the long run.
Well, no. But so go buy a bag of chips and then say, oh, that's my 20%.
Exactly.
So
I tell people use it on, I did say use it on gas before these gas prices went up. Now I'm like, go get a haircut.
Yeah. Go buy half a tank.
Go buy half a tank.
In your lawnmower.
Seriously.
So, how do you determine, okay, so you have, did you say you had 3 price structures, 3 plans?
3 plans.
So, what are they? What are the dollar amounts, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, no, I don't mind. So my top plan, we go after everything at one time, notarized. Makes it more, like I said, we send out an affidavit to the credit bureaus. Makes it way more aggressive. It's $600 to start, $150 a month. That one will take care of 1 to 6 months. Guarantees you 6 months of 100 points or 6 months free.
Okay.
So that's my top plan.
Okay. And then your second plan
is my solutions plan. That one is $300 to start, $150 a month. That's everything that my top plan does, just now notarized.
Okay.
So no affidavit, and it does not have a guarantee of 100 points.
Okay. And then
my third plan is my repair plan. It's $100 to start, $100 a month. That's someone who's just trying to get their foot in the door. That one's 9 months to a year.
Okay.
And we go after half of their items at a time.
Okay. So as an entrepreneur, for myself, what's been interesting here is the different people that I've got to talk to, they're in different industries, so they don't really get to determine their value. Their value, their pricing, right? So with me, if I had a delivery business and I'm delivering shit and gas prices are through the roof, I'm gonna have to change my pricing.
Right.
I'm gonna have to increase my pricing. How do you determine the value of each of those plans? Like how did you arrive at that number?
Yeah.
And then also, what factors would increase that over time?
Yes. So I don't know if I will ever increase my prices on my top plan. That's generally a sweet spot that we have. Most people want that plan, and it's still affordable with today. If I said, "Hey, Jason, give me $1,200," okay, you have shitty credit right now. Just give me $1,200, and in return, you will have a $250,000 house. You'll have a brand new car. You'll have everything that you want. Would you do it?
Well, yeah,
exactly. So that's just the picture I paint for people. So how I determine that is there's a lot of factors. I used to have 4 plans where I would charge on my budget plan. It was $59 to start, $49 a month. And I realized a lot of people are going with that plan, but I'm not getting that thing out of it.
Right.
I'm doing all this work, helping people get to an end, and my value is just not there. So,
you still got to eat. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, it's great to help people, but you got to help yourself first.
So I took that plan out completely. How we do it is I look at somebody's credit report. We go over their time frame and budget. If their time frame is right in one of our plans, that's a perfect fit, as long as their budget is there too. So that's why I have 3 different plans. It's for everybody and anybody. You got to meet your time frame and your budget, and I feel like that's how most people work.
Mm-hmm. How many credit repair companies in San Antonio do you think there are? Is there?
I think there's about. I know that there's only 2 that I care about.
Yeah.
But there has to be about 20. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there are diamonds. Everybody now
are they brick and mortar places, or is it?
So a lot of people are trying to get into it, but they're doing it the wrong way, as far as they're doing it as a pyramid scheme, where it's like, hey, I'm helping 10 people out fix their credit and 10 people to work for me. And it becomes this pyramid scheme that I know that me and another credit repair company agreed that we would try to shut them down, because it's not the right way to help somebody. Mm-hmm. Basically, they would take money from people, say, I'll help you fix your credit, but I'm going to send you a package and you have to do all the work. It's like, why in the hell even help somebody?
Right.
If they're going to do it themselves. It's
right.
Stupid. So there are a lot of those pyramid schemes who I will always publicly say, no, that's the worst thing you could ever do. Mm-hmm. There's debt consolidation people, where people try to just consolidate all their debt into one loan. Mm-hmm. I personally say stay away from those as well.
Debt consolidation loans?
Yeah, I hate those.
Because your percentages, is that right?
Through the roof, yeah.
You've maxed out all of your available credit in one package.
Yep.
So that makes sense.
And as far as competition goes, there's about, I would say, 20 other credit repair companies. I would consider us to be in the top 3.
Yeah. So, best credit repair companies in 2022 in San Antonio, you feel like there's only 3 of them and you're in that list.
Correct.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's even more awesome considering you started a year ago.
Correct.
That's terrific, man. I'm going to ask you to pick a color out of the decks that are in front of you there. Pick a color, but don't pick a deck.
Green.
Green. All right, I'm going to shuffle these up.
Green means money.
Green means money. I'm going to pick 5 cards, and then I'm going to ask you the questions that are on here, and then you answer them however you want to answer them. If you could sing a duet with anyone, who would it be?
If I could sing a duet with someone, a duet would be like a romantical thing. It has to be Diana Ross.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. What is the longest you've ever waited in line for something, and what was it?
I don't wait in lines. I don't. So the longest I've ever waited in line for anything would be about 20 minutes, and it would be food, because I'm stupid hungry. But if I see a long line, I go somewhere else.
If you could have anything named after you, what would you want it to be? If you could have anything named after you.
If I could have any, it would have to be a street.
I want a mountain.
I want a street.
Mount Setzer.
I want somebody to be like, yeah, I live off of Leonidas Street, or Leo Street.
Right on, man. How many chickens would it take to kill an elephant? This is a deck you pick, man.
How many chickens would it take to kill an elephant? 3,222.
And 22? I was going to say 25.
Some random number I pulled out
it. Would you ever pick up a hitchhiker?
Yeah, I would.
I have.
So have I.
But I will say,
got to be cautious.
Yeah, especially them cats that are loaded down. They got all a bunch of gear, and I'm like, is it wrong for me to tell you to get in the back of the truck?
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
I have a truck, so I'll be like, hey, if you want to ride out,
I'm going this way.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that you wish you knew before starting your business?
I wish I knew how to take rejection.
Okay.
Back then, whenever people would tell me no, I'm gonna go with a different company, I would take it personal.
Yeah.
Now I don't, but I wish I knew how to just realize that there's so many more people out in the world.
I had a guest the other day, Brandy Cook. She said something that I think is a great analogy, and I can't believe I've never heard it before. She said there's an ass for every chair. As nice a guys as we are, we're not going to click with everybody.
Right.
I took things very personal whenever I went out on my own, and then I found out that other people were getting work that was my work, you know, and I'm like, you know, what the hell, you know, what did I do or didn't do or whatever, you know, sometimes it's just, you know, some people click with other people. Sometimes you screwed up, you know, but
of course,
but sometimes, you know, so yeah, man, that's pretty, I would say that's pretty valuable. What do you think the biggest mistake so far you've made being in business? What do you think is the biggest mistake you made?
Biggest mistake I made was overpromising and underdelivering. I had to step back and realize, okay, what do we need to do to make sure we deliver? So just kind of maturing yourself pretty quickly. You know, we've only been in for a year, but I feel like we matured it pretty quickly to not make that mistake.
Dude, I feel like I'm talking to somebody who's been in business for 20 years, man. You definitely, I definitely feels matured. You know
I appreciate that.
So when you say under promise and over promise and under deliver,
meaning I don't want to promise somebody saying I can fix your credit instantly whenever that's not always the case.
So whenever you realized this or had this realization, was it happening or did it happen once, or you know what I'm saying?
Right. No, it happened a few times.
There was a few times when it's like, man, I keep telling these people I can't get what I said I'm going to do and get it done. So how much foot traffic do you get in your place?
Foot traffic, not that much. Okay. It's more calls online. A lot of people just don't, you know, because of COVID too, don't come in, which works out for us because it's easier for us to do it over the phone than it is to do it in person.
Do you ever do any Zoom calls or anything?
Yeah, we do. We could do a Zoom consultation where I can pull the report and show them, you know, what I'm looking at.
Is that ever requested? Hey, can you Zoom
every
me?
Now and then when people are like, "Are you fraud?" And I'm like,
"You want to see me? You want to see my smile?
You want to see me? Let's do it."
What do you do to reset? To relax?
Oh God, I barbecue. I don't. So I used to barbecue every weekend. That's my like go-to.
Yeah.
Sit outside, you know, drink a beer and barbecue. And
what's your beer choice?
Right now it has to be Michelob Ultra.
Okay. So what's your food of choice? What are you when you're barbecuing?
Well, I just made a brisket this past week. I don't know if you saw my Facebook or not, but I made a brisket with some ribs.
Did you have a family gathering?
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe I did.
Yeah, I put up the pool, the trampoline, which that damn pool broke. That's another story I don't want to get into. But my relaxation is being with my family, but entertaining my family. So not just being around them, but like cooking for them or having them come over to my house and be in the pool or jump on a trampoline or just relax, sit in our backyard. Let me make you drinks. I have a full bar at my house, so let me entertain you. That's my relaxation.
Wow.
Is entertaining other people.
That's interesting. That's cool, though. That's cool. Yeah. What is your prediction for your business in the next 20 years? So it'll be 2042 because I can add by tens. So
my prediction will be we have multiple locations. I'll probably be in some corporate office dealing with what this location's doing and why aren't they.
Where are the numbers? Why are the customers? Retainage, blah, blah, blah.
I feel like we'll have national commercials, which we're already starting to do. We're shooting a commercial next week. So I just feel like we're going to be big.
Damn, dude. Yeah. I feel like you are too. Jesus. I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
Hey, come join our team.
I'm saying, man, y'all got any sheesh. I'll have to figure out some kind of value I can add over there. You guys, it's I meant to ask you earlier. You mentioned you found a good niche of people that you're working with now. What kind of process is it for you to find your niche of people? Because I can imagine that you're going to want to have some kind of familiarity with what you're doing with the people that you're working with now. That feeling, right. I'd imagine you're going to want that in all your places.
Right. Yes. So it varies. I want somebody who doesn't know a lot about credit that I can teach freshly, because opposed to somebody who does, they
know it all already.
Yes, and they're cocky.
Yeah, but, and that's not and not taking anything away. It's just it's easier. Yeah.
But I did have who I told you, Alex, came from another credit repair company.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he reached out to us, and at first I was like, nah, this isn't gonna work. And he was probably the best person we've ever hired. You know, I love all of my employees, but
It probably has the most qualifications, I guess.
Right.
Is that right to say?
And he's the hardest worker. He's there before everybody and he leaves after everybody.
Nice.
He's just very dedicated. And he is the exception from another credit repair company that I was like, okay, that'll work.
Yeah. Now that I got you, I don't have to worry about
everybody else. Exactly. But I rather them not have the experience so we can teach it, because then they don't learn the way that I wouldn't want them to learn.
What kind of person are you looking for when you're thinking about hiring somebody?
Outgoing, has to be family oriented, has to have a purpose of why they were working for us and why we want to work with them. The purpose has to be long term. As far as, we don't want this to be a job. I don't want somebody to come in and feel like, God damn, I got to come in and work for this asshole. No, I want them to be like, hell yeah, I want to go in and we're going to have some fun. And I got to work for this asshole. Yeah. I always ask my employees, I'm like, are you happy? Like, what do you feel working here? Like, is there something we can improve on? You know, when we're looking for somebody, they got to fit our team. Yeah. They got to be family oriented with their family, because we're going to bring in their family.
You don't have to answer this.
I probably will.
How to repair credit yourself.
Okay, I probably won't. I'm just kidding. Yes, of course you can do it yourself. Anybody can go online and Google a 609 letter template and submit it to the credit bureaus. We don't use that. We use something way more advanced. But yeah, you can definitely do it yourself. So how would you repair it yourself? Well, you go online, Google a 609 letter, download the template, put your name in there, say, this should not be on my credit report, give them a reason. They'll come back and say, okay, or they'll say, no, it should.
Yeah, it should be on. Yeah.
So, and that's doing it yourself.
Parting words of wisdom this is going to be a little different for you. Parting words of wisdom for any budding entrepreneur, and also parting words of wisdom for anybody that has fucked up their credit.
Any entrepreneur, consistency is key. Keep trying, keep grinding, keep doing what you have to do. You're not going to become a millionaire overnight. It's not going to happen. But give yourself a few years. We're $250,000 away from $1 million. Actually, we're less. So it can happen, just not overnight. But keep going. Keep going. And just because you hit that millionaires club, still keep going, because $1 million ain't shit today.
No, it ain't. And that's probably why it's, well, you're right. It ain't shit today. Parting words of wisdom for the person that fucked up their credit.
There's hope.
Call me.
We'll fix it. It's okay. Shit happens. I tell every customer, shit happens. They're like, I've been divorced. I hear the divorce story all the time. Okay. It's okay. Yeah. We can clean up spilled milk.
That's a good way to put that. That's a really good way to put that. Is there anything else? Oh, where can people find you?
You can Google me. Google National Best Credit Solutions. You can find me on Facebook under Leonides Valdez, and then Google National Best Credit Solutions. We're on the Better Business Bureau. Find us online. You can find us locally. You can find us out in the public. We're all around.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate you coming down today.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having us. Thank you.